Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. The province announces millions today for Blind River.
There's failing infrastructure, and we've got to do something for our treasured municipalities.
It's all to help modernize its wastewater treatment plant. Plus, they want the Indigenous Services Minister to resign.
So we've been in constant contact with her team, but not with her.
Kashechewan says Minister Golmasti has yet to visit the community. And the price of gas continues to rise.
It'll definitely make it more difficult to get around.
We'll have more on how drivers are coping as prices push upwards due to the Middle East.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. A firefighter has been injured following a house fire last night in the town of Blind River. The call came in just before 5 p.m. about a house on fire on the west end of Young Fox Road. Fire officials say they needed 16 firefighters and 5 apparatus to put out the blaze, which had no civilian fatalities or injuries. The injured firefighter had minor injuries and has since been released from hospital. There's no word yet on a cause. In a statement, Fire Chief Ryan Belair writes, in part, the Blind River Fire Department would like to remind residents that calling 911 immediately at the first sign of an emergency is critical. Early notification allows emergency services to respond quickly and can significantly reduce the impact of fires and other emergencies. Still in Blind River, Algoma, Manitoulin MPP Bill Rosenberg announcing today more than $7 million to fix and expand water infrastructure. The town has been putting a big push on fixing up and upgrading the infrastructure under the town as of late. Mayor Sally Hackman telling CTV News these funds will be used in modernizing the current wastewater plant.
These are moments for us to celebrate because we don't have a lot of businesses in our town, so it falls back to our taxpayers to have to pay for any kind of improvements to the community. And, as a lot of communities know, there's failing infrastructure, and we've got to do something for our treasured municipalities right across the north. And piece by piece in Blind River, we are doing just that. Wow.
Hackman says the funds will now only help them meet current needs, but will not only help them meet current needs, but will also support future growth in the town. In other news, Kashechewan First Nation is calling for the resignation of Indigenous Services Minister Mandy Golmasti. The First Nation put out a statement today saying the minister has not visited Kashechewan or the evacuation sites over the last 2 months. Community members were forced out after the water treatment system failed. Assessment and repairs have been ongoing for 60 days, leaving residents scattered across the province. Executive Director Tyson Wesley says Minister Golmasti hasn't participated in the discussion around the repairs or evacuations either.
Our team from Ontario that's been mostly on our calls and dealing with day-to-day operations of fire evacuation and kind of planning for the future too. So we've been in constant contact with her team, but not with her.
Chief Hosea Wesley saying in the statement, we are not a file to be managed, and if the minister cannot demonstrate the leadership needed at this moment, then she should step aside. 6 evacuees have died in the last 2 months. The community's executive director didn't want to comment specifically about them for privacy reasons, but says not being home with the whole community makes the grieving process that much harder.
Situation that we're in right now is not ideal. Like usually when somebody passes away in our community, we stop everything that we're doing and honor their life and come together. We always come together as a community and making sure that we remember the person that we lost. And I think that's really hard to do when we're in this situation.
CTV News has received a statement from the minister in which she says she's been in open contact with Chief Wesley. She writes in part, while I have been working with urgency to support this emergency response, I regret not having been able to visit the community in person and remain committed to doing so. As the conflict in Iran continues into day 6, gas prices are surging upwards across the world and here at home. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Canadians are seeing higher costs at gas stations, which many Sudburyans said is a big hit for Northern Ontario's city layouts.
It'll definitely make it more difficult to get around. I live in Coppercliff, so it's a lot of driving every day for me for work, so I'm filling up probably once a week. sometimes more, yeah, it adds up quick. You know, you're talking about $150 per fill up or whatever, and that's twice a week that you're paying more for the gas than you are for the truck.
Fortunately, I don't drive much since I retired, but for those that have to drive for work or to go anywhere, yeah, it's going to hurt them. And it's probably going to stop them from going places.
I think the price of gas is too high, and it just fluctuates a lot, way too much, from going from, say, $1.12 one day to $1.32 the next day. It just should not happen that way. It should stay a lot more stable than what it is.
The government removed the consumer carbon price last spring, but right now they're comparable to last year.
It goes to show you this time last year we sort of got used to it, the drip of higher prices. But this is happening a lot faster than anyone thinks. And the longer this goes, the longer it's going to take to climb out of it, and the higher it's going to go, likely. The impact, though, is critical on the diesel side.
McTeague says gas has gone up at least 17 cents a liter since last Friday, and a net 8-cent increase is predicted at the pumps by this Saturday. Diesel prices skyrocketed, jumping 38 cents from last week, and it's expected to rise another 15 cents before the end of the week.
Timmins, North Bay, Sudbury are all cheaper than Toronto today. We're paying $1.46. I see some stations in Timmins, of all places, where the transportation costs usually 5 cents a liter more.
McTeague says the cost of fuel is expected to rise, so he recommends shopping around on gas comparison sites and apps before filling up. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
At the 2026 Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada Convention, Natural Resources Canada committed to investing up to $40 million in the creation of the Canadian Digital Core Library. CTV's Lindsay Alick has the details.
Prospectors and exploration crews have been sampling across Canada for hundreds of years. Soon they will be made available to all through the creation of the Canadian Digital Core Library.
We have this huge amount of drill core samples all across the country, just sitting there. And we don't know what we don't know. So what the government of Canada is doing is we're going to take those drill core samples and using AI technology, that there are new tools now where you can scan the drill core samples and it tells you all the minerals that are contained in there. So we're going to be able to do that and take all that information and have it on a digital platform.
Tim Hodgins, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, announced the signing of a non-binding declaration of intent during PDAC between the Government of Canada, Creative Destruction Lab, Laurentian University, and multiple major mining companies, including Agnico Eagle and Vale.
I have been advocating and pushing for this all along. And so when we announced the library at PDAC earlier this week and solidified Laurentian University's role, I was so proud of the university and proud of Sudbury and everything this means for us.
This is an excellent opportunity for students. They're going to have access to data from core across Canada. There's a lot of advantages for our students there. Like they could be working on projects with partners. They could be doing co-ops and internships with some of the 6 companies that are involved in this project and potentially more. And, you know, it helps them be better prepared for the workforce. It's really going to enhance their learning.
Lapointe says now that key partners have been identified, the government will work with provincial and territorial jurisdiction to negotiate where the samples will be stored and who provides oversight over them. She adds that there are approximately enough samples from across the country that, if lined up, would go from Halifax to Vancouver. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
As we told you about yesterday, a new pitch could change how mining wealth is reinvested in the north. And it's coming from Greater Sudbury's mayor. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
Mayor Paul LaFave says Sudbury generates 1/3 of Northern Ontario's total GDP. However, he says the city is missing out on an opportunity.
We're really contributing to the economy of Canada, just not on regular businesses, but on a very special one, which is critical minerals. and the importance of that industry now more than ever.
In an op-ed released this week, La5 calls on the provincial government to grant Sudbury special economic zone status while requesting some financial support from the federal government. The formal policy would allow a portion of the wealth generated by mining to stay in Sudbury to fund housing, roads, and workforce development.
It's an unfamiliar term to Canadians and even the specialized set of economists or business development officers. You know, they think of developing countries, right, which have special economic zones where you can import and export for free.
To look at the same bill with the lens of being a municipality that would like to gain the power from the special economic zone would actually make a lot of sense for Sudbury.
The framework came into effect in January as part of the Ford government's controversial Bill 5. While the law aims to slash red tape, critics warn it could mean bypassing environmental protections and Indigenous rights.
If we're going to hand that kind of sovereignty over to the government for them to decide how they think the best way to move forward for these special projects, I think that would be a mistake and a move backwards.
La5 says the designation would strengthen partnerships and provide financial support to protect the local environment. A formal motion for the delegation will be presented at an upcoming council meeting, and if passed, the province holds the legal key to create the zone. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Public Health Sudbury and District says it's seeing increased reports of gastrointestinal illnesses in long-term care homes and children's centers. Public Health says the increase is likely linked to norovirus, which is highly contagious and can have serious impacts on children and older adults. And washing with soap and water is the most effective way to prevent the spread of the disease. If you're sick, Public Health says to stay home for at least 48 hours. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick will have your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the weather warnings we have in place tonight. We've got a fairly large freezing drizzle advisory stretching from Manitoulin Island and Sable Spanish rivers across the North Shore westward to the Sioux and all the way along the Lake Superior coastline. It's going to last into Friday afternoon. Roadways and walkways could be quite slippery, so make sure you are careful if you're heading out there walking or driving. Let's take a look at the current conditions as we see them right now. Minus 13 in Kapuskasing, minus 13 in Timmins, minus 12 in Chapleau, minus 9 in Wawa, but then things get dramatically warmer to the south end of the region in Sault Ste. Marie, minus 5 in Elliott Lake, minus 3 in Gore Bay. Sudbury the exception maybe to that rule. We'll have details after the break.
You see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Looks like a wet start to the weekend, as you are about to see. Forecast radar in northeastern Ontario, a system moving in, and this is how it's going to shape up by about supper time tomorrow evening. Continuing into Saturday with showers, then we have the chance of drizzle or the chance of rain for a couple of days. Some milder temperatures will come to an end at the beginning of next week. Sudbury Nickel Belt 7-day forecast, 70% chance of freezing drizzle tomorrow, high of +1. Showers on Saturday at 4. Chance of sleet for a couple of days. Sunday and Monday, 5 and 7 your temperatures, and the chance of showers only 2 on Tuesday. So again, a cooling trend starting late Monday into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. More on that coming now from Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Freezing drizzle off and on tomorrow at 2. 3 degrees, some showers on Saturday. Sunday, chance of sleet. More of the same on Monday. Take a look at the temperatures. 3, 6, 8, then dropping down to 3 and -3. Tuesday and Wednesday, showers or snow or even rain. Meanwhile, in Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, freezing drizzle tomorrow, a good bet at 60%. Flurries or showers right now, Saturday at -1. Chance of flurries on Sunday and Monday, 4 and 2 your temperatures. Chance of snow on Tuesday, -4, even dropping down further, -9 with snow by next Wednesday. How about Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake? Freezing drizzle tomorrow at 60%, a daytime high of 1. Showers on Saturday at 3. Chance of flurries on Sunday at 5 degrees. 4 degrees Monday. Chance of sleet. Chance of snow Tuesday at -1. Then really cooling down, -6 and -7 next Wednesday and Thursday. Some snow and rain in the forecast. Wrapping up now with North Bay and West Nipissing. Freezing drizzle tomorrow at 60%, a pretty good bet there at 2 degrees. Shower activity Saturday, 7 degrees, then cooling off to 5 on Sunday. Chance of sleet. Warming back up again on Monday, chance of sleet at 7, then cooling back down again. The yo-yo effect here. Tuesday, chance of showers and some showers on Wednesday, 0. Even your overnight lows are going to be affected, -12 and -13. So a couple of days of transition, Ian. Wet start tomorrow, continuing into Saturday, then a 50-50 split continuing Sunday, Monday, even Tuesday, and a change of temperatures too. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Rick. Well, Nawsum University wants to see more Indigenous people pursue careers in healthcare. CTV's Angela Campbell reports.
Since Nawsum University was first created 20 years ago, there's been 1,041 graduates. Of those, almost 9% identified as Indigenous. It's a figure the school wants to increase.
We're now looking at the demographics of Northern Ontario, of which Indigenous representation is 15 to 20%.
The standalone medical school is looking to recruit more Indigenous learners to become physicians, nurse practitioners, or other healthcare professionals. It's part of the school's social accountability mandate, but officials say having Indigenous medical professionals in the north helps improve health outcomes and addresses shortages.
We're recruiting to be learners in healthcare, but as well as leaders in research, advocacy. We need Indigenous leadership as the system is changing. We're going through a change right now in the health system, and we need Indigenous representation at that level.
The school holds regular virtual sessions for potential applicants to hear from current Nawsum students, ask questions, and learn about supports available.
We have an Elders and Knowledge Keepers Council that advises the university, also helps us advise on supports the students might need. If it's important to them, they have access to traditional ceremonies and special spaces to recognize and support them through their journey as a student.
Admission to Nawsum is merit-based, and all applicants must meet the criteria, but Senecal does have some advice.
Don't get discouraged. It takes more than just one try a lot of times, and just keep going. And if this is what your dream is, go after it.
Each year, about 2,000 people apply for the undergraduate medical education program at Nawsum University. Just 64 are admitted, although that number is expected to increase to 88 in a few years. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Sudbury.
A North Bay area farmer is the newest president of the Beef Farmers of Ontario. Jason LeBlanc, a cattle farmer of 20 years, is in a way taking the bull by the horns to lead the group into the year ahead. CTV's Eric Tashner has more.
It's feeding time at Jay's Acres. Farmer Jason LeBlanc is tending to his herd of cattle.
My love is farming. It's incredible.
LeBlanc and his family have been running a 35-head commercial grass-fed cow-calf farm since 2006. And one day he hopes to expand his herd to between 50 and 75. LeBlanc will be bringing his experience to the Beef Farmers of Ontario, as he's the group's newest president.
It's an honor, of course, that the producers and the board members saw fit to give me that job for this coming year.
He will represent the province's 19,000 beef farmers, as the association focuses on growth and profitability in all sectors. Ontario is considered a net beef importer since there's not enough livestock to sustain the feedlot sector.
We're always looking to improve the numbers and increase those numbers of cattle producers.
Moving forward as president, LeBlanc's first order of business is to seek approval for a provincial guarantee under the association's beef breeder loan program.
Any producer, but especially young producers who don't have the capital, can get loans to bring in and get breeding livestock.
Looking to the months ahead, LeBlanc and other farmers will be watching the Canada-US-Mexico trade agreement review with bated breath.
Beef is an industry where animals cross the border back and forth all the time. And we do work closely with our American counterparts and hope to keep that same process going.
LeBlanc says the demand for high-quality beef has never been higher, as farmers explore ways to make the product better each year. Eric Tashner, CTV News, Chisholm.
And the Ministry of Agriculture did respond, saying it has been actively exploring the potential of a government-backed breeder loan guarantee program for this sector. The ministry is working closely with the beef farmers of Ontario to understand the challenges the industry is facing and how a provincial breeder program may support and/or address these challenges. Still with the province, the Ford government is bringing paper report cards back to Ontario public schools. The province says the move will help families have simple access to their child's progress. Many Ontario schools send student report cards electronically via a dedicated portal or password-protected email. There is no timeline for when paper report cards will be available. There's more news ahead tonight on CTV News. For now, let's go to a video of Henry the polar bear posted late this afternoon to the Cochrane Polar Bear Habitat. Posting this video of him learning how to problem solve as an enrichment activity on their social media feed. It mimics some of the natural bear behaviors. Wow, look at him go. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario. It was a wild night for hockey out at the Bort Longyear Memorial Gardens in North Bay as the battalion played host to the visiting Oshawa Generals.
Here's Gervais in behind the defense. A pass across. Cholak with the save. Following up is Amadovsky, and he scores.
Liam Amadovsky on the rebound there would be the first troop to find the back of the net, and certainly not the last. Ethan Prochesin would nab another two before the end of the match. 2 goals into the third, however, would allow Oshawa to retake the lead. North Bay falls to the Generals tonight by a score of 4-3. And a real barn burner tonight over at the Countryside Arena in Sudbury over in the NOJHL between the Sault Thunderbirds and the top-ranked Sudbury Cubs. Overtime would be required here with both teams tied at 3 apiece with no scoring. It's looking like they tied it in the end with the game ending in a 3-3 tie. A city in southwest Quebec is experimenting with an unusual way to fight wintry road conditions. Dorval has launched a pilot project using a product made of crushed starfish instead of road salt to coat its streets. The South Korean company that makes the starfish powder says its product is highly effective in cold temperatures and less corrosive than road salt. Dorval's mayor says the next step would be to import the powder in large quantities and mix it with de-icing materials the city has on hand.
So that next winter, we would have a solution where we can mix it with the salt that we already get here in Canada, less environmental impact in transport.
The starfish mixture is also being used at the Edmonton airport. Finally, while many across the north are welcoming the warmer weather, those looking to lace up and take to the ice are faced with opposite feelings. Among them, a pair of skaters from the Algoma district who recently took their birthday celebrations to the world's largest naturally frozen skating rink. CTV's Corey Nordstrom reports.
While the warm temperatures today may have prevented Bonnie Zagrodny-Lloyd and Dorianne Goodmurthy from an outdoor skate, just 2 weeks ago, the hockey players who are set to turn 70 and 63 traveled to our nation's capital to live out a plan etched by Zagrodny-Lloyd to commemorate her upcoming milestone birthday.
When we were playing with our team in provincials senior games, another teammate who just turned 65, the baby of the crew, did 65 kilometers on the Rideau Canal where she lives in Ottawa. And I thought, that's exactly what I want to do.
As you get older, you kind of change in thought, mind. Like, you don't say, oh, I got lots of time, I could do it again. No, time is ticking, right? So we're thinking, let's do it. Let's do it. Why not?
So the two, joined by friends in Ottawa, spent the day skating a kilometer for each revolution they've done around the sun. They took in some very Canadian snacks while enjoying one of Canada's most famed national historic sites.
That was my first time on the Rideau, so all the ambiance of the Rideau is there, and it's just so inspiring. And, you know, with friends that are really supportive and excellent to be around, that was inspiring in itself. And so when we're skating, it's the freedom of the skate.
While the company made things easier, in all, it was a marathon day on the ice.
It was a good feeling. I was glad it was over. But after what, 6.5 hours?
6 hours, 19 minutes, okay, to be precise.
It took us to do all the things, so I was glad it was over.
The pair rave about the experience, and though Zagrodny Lloyd did plenty of preparation, they say it wasn't as difficult as they initially expected.
A challenge for other people to do it too.
Yeah,
you know?
like just I don't know, mind over matter maybe.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
How wonderful. Happy birthday, ladies. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Thursday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Thanks for watching. Good night.